Woodruff neighbors. There's a story that goes along with just about each of my names. First, I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on December the 5th, 1920. So since this is the end of the year 2005, I have just celebrated my 85th birthday on the 5th of December. Back to the story about my names. Legally, my name is Doris Woodruff Neighbors. Doris was not given to me at birth, but when I started in kindergarten, so the story goes, I came home after the first day and told my mother that I had told the teacher my name was Doris Jean Woodruff. And since I was the youngest in the family, I usually got away with a lot that probably I shouldn't have. But my mother said, "Oh, really?" And so that's the beginning of Doris. Jean was given to me as my first name when I was born, because I believe the nurse that my mother had was named Jean. I was born at home. In those days, people didn't go to the hospital.
You had a midwife?
Had a doctor.
A doctor?
Mm-hmm. And the nurse was named Jean. So that's where I picked up that name. The next name that was on my original birth certificate was Evelyn. My mother's best friend was named Evelyn. And next, believe it or not, came Geraldine. And this was my older sister's best friend. And I think that's just about enough of them. But for some reason, as a child, I read a lot, and I always wanted to write my name in my books. Like I'm referring to books that came from the store that were not academic books, but books that I would read for pleasure. And so I still have a couple of copies, and on the front, in the front of the book, there would be the sentence, "My name is Doris Jean Evelyn Geraldine," and then, believe it or not, I picked up Betty Mary Woodruff. Since I am now the only living sibling in my family, I find it strange to be in this position, since in the birth line I was born last. All my parents, both my parents, and all my siblings were born in Nashville, Tennessee, and moved to Indianapolis in 1916. That move is another whole story, so I won't try to include it right now. Growing up, I always felt as if I were the different one in the family because I had not been born the same place the rest of them were. My parents had known each other since they were in the 4th grade and had known each other all their lives, but they married in, let me get the date right now, 1900, after my father had completed a tour of duty for the U.S. Army. He participated in the Spanish-American War and was in service in the Philippines. In our family, there were 14 live births, but only 4 children lived to become grown. And I think most of them died as babies because in those years we did not have pre-birth care that which became evident later on. My brother, well, let's back up. My father's name was Minus, M-I-N-U-S, E. Woodruff. His father's name was Minus Woodruff. Then my brother, who was the oldest child, was named Minus E. Woodruff Jr. Sorry about that, not Junior. Minus E. Woodruff Sr. And then his son's name was Minus E. Woodruff Jr. We still are close to the granddaughter of my brother, who is Maria Woodruff. What's her last name?
Jordan.
Maria's last name.
Jordan. Like Michael Jordan. Jordan,
that's
Yeah.
right. Okay. Remember, I'm 85. So those two parts of the family are still very closely connected. Getting off the subject, when I retired in 1982, I began a family history.
That's bad.